for a sustainable future at Bombay Teachers Training College. At BTC, we believe in making a difference in the world by committing ourselves to shaping the future of education and thus the future of society. We are involved in the preparation of teachers who provide service to the local and global community. Lighting is auspicious and prayer is powerful, strengthening and self-directive. I request honorable dignitaries to please light the lamp formally and inaugurate the international conference. Let us all seek the blessings of Almighty with the college prayer. I request Dr. Balani to please bring the dignitaries for the lamp. Thank you, everyone. I request the tech team to please look into it. Online participants must hear us. Our dear principal, Dr. Balani, inspiring, encouraging, and committed to his duty, passionate educationist and enthusiastic teacher, registrar at HSNC University, makes extra efforts for supporting and empowering students and teachers. Truly speaking, this international conference is out online and appreciate the efforts and enthusiasm of the students of ETDC.
Good morning, dear one and all. Welcome to all dignitaries on the dais, respected Fisherman's Swami sir, respected Maheshani ma'am, my mentor Dr. Jayan Digedi, our distinguished guest, today's guest, Usha Pandit madam, and all other dignitaries. Shiv Talwar sir is available online, he is with us. He is the senior most educationist, and all other dignitaries who are going to join with us during this conference. My dear colleagues and my dear friends, BTDC's vision is to emerge as a center of excellence in teacher education. But after getting the university status, all the faculty members, in consultation with all of our stakeholders, we resolute that we will extend our reach to the society by expanding our vision. So the new vision for Bombay Teachers Training College is to emerge as a center of excellence in teacher education and interdisciplinary studies. So we started MA in education. We included 3 research papers in MA in education, and we brought a lot of changes in the curriculum of BA program. As on today, we have introduced 2 core courses of educational research and academic writing, with the resolution that all the teachers enrolled in BA program will be given a rigor experiential learning in conducting the research. And this credit goes to Board of Studies in the subject of education. Dr. Rajiv is the chairperson of Board of Studies in Education. And with his consultation with all the stakeholders, we were able to introduce these 2 courses in the program. Apart from teaching these courses, what we do, we engage our students in creating the knowledge, in exploring the knowledge, sharing the knowledge, and utilizing the existing information in the classroom. So these endeavors has really opened up the avenues for the students to explore more knowledge and disseminate the knowledge among the other stakeholders. If you look at the theme of this international conference, unanimously we decided that we will keep the theme open. We will make it universal, and the theme for this international conference is transformative capacity building for a sustainable future. We are aware that a lot of research is happening. People in the field are doing a lot of research. They are creating the knowledge, and we wanted to give an opportunity to our students and all other stakeholders, whatever the work they had done or the contribution that they had done, they must come and share with all of us. We have received 64 research papers. 64 research papers will be presented today in different technical sessions during the afternoon. And I will request all the student delegates and all other delegates who are attending this conference, please take down each and every reform that you may witness. Some researchers must have done experimental research, some researchers must have done survey-based research, some researchers must have developed the different models, and most of them may give more emphasis on the values, global values that we all need to follow because of the, we can say, global geopolitics that has been happening. And I believe that we will all deliberate on it. And I'm looking forward to listening to each one of you. And we are also will walk post conference. We will sit together, and whatever the papers that we will gather, Papers will be peer reviewed in different layers so that the quality of the research outcome of the research proceedings becomes a document, a resolution that each one of us take it forward so that we can implement the base of the base solution when we go as a professional in our teaching profession. So not taking much of your time, I welcome you all. Let us sit together, listen the views and suggestions, the observation made by the researchers, and make a resolute that let us play a significant role and contribute significantly and make our society a happening place to live in great harmony and peace. Once again, I welcome you all for this international conference. Thank you. God bless us.
Thank you, Dr. Bhagwan Belani. Excellence is not merely a destination, but a journey, requiring dedication, innovation, and continuous improvement. It's my duty to mention over here, as Dr. Belani has informed, that we received 64 papers on research, and this is all, as I said it, initiative of Principal Dr. Belani, who has created a high level of research environment at BTTC. In this international conference, we have 5 overseas papers which are going to get presented today, 11 papers from outside Maharashtra, 23 papers from Mumbai, and 26 papers from BTTC, BA research scholars and MA students and PhD research scholars. I request sir and madam, please come on the dais and release our abstract compilation of 63 paper presenters in this, which one we received yesterday and which is not there. So compilation of 63 abstract papers, and I request the secretaries and organizing committee please join us for releasing the abstract compilation. May I request the student volunteers please come forward who helped us in compilation of the abstracts. Volunteers, please come quickly. Raksha, Kailash, please there. Is the book visible in the picture? Through this conference, we engage in insightful discussions, learn from each other's experiences, harness our collective wisdom and creativity to unlock new opportunities. Let's all strive for the excellence in all that what we do to overcome the challenges of upcoming education system. May this conference inspire and empower us to reach greater heights and make a positive impact on the world around us. Once again, I welcome you all, and I hand over the platform to Ms. Stuti for the next proceedings, and I request her to call the volunteer to introduce Madam Maya Shahan.
Good morning, everyone. It is a great honor to welcome you to the International Conference 2025 here at PTTC. We are truly delighted to have you join us for what promises to be an inspiring and impactful event. This year's theme, Transformative Capacity Building for a Sustainable Future, addresses the critical challenges we face in today's rapidly changing world. As we navigate social, environmental, and economic transformations, building capacity, whether in knowledge, skills, or partnerships, is essential for progress. Throughout this conference, we have the opportunity to share ideas, challenge perspectives, and collaborate across sectors. Every session and conversation is an opportunity to strengthen the systems and people shaping the future. Let us work together to build a meaningful and sustainable future. I would now like to introduce our esteemed and special guests of the day. It is my honor to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Keshav Mansukhani sir, whose presence today truly elevates the stature of this occasion. Dr. Mansukhani is a distinguished individual whose remarkable journey is a true testament to dedication, leadership, and lifelong learning. With an impressive academic foundation, Sir holds degrees in mechanical engineering and management studies from the United States of America. His illustrious career spans over several decades, beginning with a successful tenure at Tata Motors, where he rose through the ranks to serve as a senior manager and subsequently as general manager of the export department. He also led international marketing for Tata Motors, showcasing his visionary leadership and global outlook. After a fulfilling career with the Tata Group, Dr. Mansukhani ventured into entrepreneurship, establishing a retail marketing and consultancy enterprise, which he continues to manage alongside his son. Dr. Mansukhani's contribution extends far beyond the corporate world. He has been a dedicated member of the HSNC board since 1973. Over the years, he has held key leadership positions, including 6 years as vice president and a 3.
He has also been a research guide for the research projects. Dr. Digge continues to shine as an expert consultant at universities and colleges across Maharashtra. Currently, he serves as a member of Committee of Statutes and Regulations at HSLC University, Mumbai, and also serves on the management of Satish Pradhan Jnana College, Thane. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Digge. I now request our principal, Dr. Balani, to please felicitate Dr. Digge and welcome him. Thank you, sir, for honoring us with your presence.
I now request Ms. Ramsha to introduce and welcome Dr. Maya Shahani.
It's an honor to introduce Dr. Maya Shahani, a visionary leader whose name is synonymous with the advancement of quality education, social empowerment, and ethical excellence. Chairperson of the Shahani Group and Thoraman Shahani Center of Management, renowned for advancing quality, industry-oriented education. Under her leadership, the center among prestigious awards. She also oversees 27 institutions under the HSNC board, impacting over 50,000 students annually, and leads the SAGE Foundation, building for under-resourced youth. As Vice Chairperson of the Global Dialogue Foundation under United Nations Alliance of Civilized promotes unity in diversity, inaugurating India's first peace garden, and establishing India as the global headquarters for United Civilization. Honored with Jagannath Bajaj Award, Global Peace Award, and Clinton Global Initiative recognition, her work spans education, women's empowerment, and healthcare. Featured in the film Dreamcatcher, she embodies compassionate leadership. We request her to address the audience. Over to you, Maya ma'am.
Hear me now? So it's my turn to speak. Alright, so good morning everyone. I'm not taking any names because everyone must stay in your own right. But I'm really happy to see my friend Shiv Talwar joining all the way from Canada. I respect him highly and he have a lot of good stuff to share with you. So for me, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, not only as a trustee and a guest of honor, but because Bombay Teacher Training College is one of my favorite colleges, and I do try to attend as many meetings as possible, because they are the ones who are really, they are going to shape the future. Training a teacher like training millions of other students. So hosted by Dr. Balani and our esteemed Bombay Teachers Training College, this is an international conference that I just didn't want to miss. So, as you all know, we are gathered here in times that are calling us not just to reform, but to reawaken. And as we speak of sustainability and transformation, I invite you to pause and reflect on this profound truth that Einstein had said many years ago. He had said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. This is a very famous quote, but most of the time that we're still going back to our old way of thinking, we have to transform overnight and very rapidly. So today I'll speak not just about capacity building, but about consciousness that must guide it, about a kind of leadership the world desperately needs, and that is conscious leadership. There's an urgency for a paradigm shift. We live in a world where we are hyper-connected but deeply fragmented, where we pursue progress but often we lose our purpose. In such a world, capacity building cannot be confined to skills and syllabi. We always focus on skills and syllabi, but it goes much deeper, and it must go much deeper. Individuals to lead with empathy, to act with empathy, and to live with awareness. This is where consciousness becomes not just a concept, but a necessity. So what is conscious leadership? Conscious leadership is about being awake to your own values, awake to your impact on others, and awake to the interconnectedness of life. Leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those that you are in charge of. This is what Simon Sinek had said. So conscious leaders, they embody self-awareness and deep listening. They lead with clarity, compassion, and courage. They seek collaboration over control. They align purpose with action. They uplift systems while nurturing souls makers. They are consciousness creators. So how does conscious leadership help in transformative capacity building? Let me ask you, can we build sustainable capacity without emotional intelligence, without purpose, without ethical grounding? Capacity building must move from competition to collaboration, from information to transformation, from technical training to holistic development. True transformation arises when we stop seeing learners as vessels to be filled and begin seeing them as lights to be ignited. This is again an old quotation, but it is very important. We just don't want to push knowledge down our children's throats. They're just like lights which need to be ignited. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all, maintained by Aristotle. There's an ancient story I love, and this is something to do with me also. I was always called the palm tree or bamboo in school. I was tall and I used to just sway, go with the flow. So the story is about a storm once swept through a dense forest. The proud oak tree stood tall, unbending, and it broke. But the bamboo, slender and silent, bent with the wind, and it stood tall the next morning. This is how we should all be. So leadership today is much like that. The world doesn't need more rigidity. It needs the resilience of the bamboo, grounded, adaptable, and conscious. Let's talk about conscious leadership in education. This is a call to all you educators out there. As educators, you are not just teachers, you are architects of awareness. I was looking at which are the skills that are necessary for today's time and for tomorrow. And one skill that was mentioned was teachers and mentorship. It won't be needed anymore. If you're behaving just like teachers and mentors of today, then you won't be needed anymore. So you have to be architects of awareness. You are planting seeds that will grow into the leaders of tomorrow. So I urge you to integrate mindfulness, emotional intelligence, and ethics into your teaching. This is what machines and robots can't do. This is what's missing there. Artificial intelligence doesn't have these qualities. You know, in our Shani group, we're working on creating consciousness in humanoids. Humanoids are just like us human beings, but they're robots, they're machines. They look and talk like us, but they'll be lacking the feelings that we have. So in the Shani group, we're trying to instill consciousness in machines. And I mean, most of you must be knowing that these days, I mean, in future, in the very near future, even machines are going to develop an emotion and consciousness. So we have to train future teachers to become compassionate change agents, promote environmental consciousness and social equity alongside academics, create safe spaces for reflection, dialogue, and discovery. Our institutions must become incubators of inner wisdom, not just knowledge. And now I would like to talk about the sage child and the conscious humanoid. What I was telling you earlier, that our Shahani group, I run the Sage Foundation. So we are trying to create the sage child. And my dream is to make every child a sage child. So that means I want to read. So I'm looking at it globally and we in our ancient knowledge, our Vedic knowledge, which was far superior to the Macaulay kind of thinking. It was Macaulay who ruined our educational system, and he said this is how Indians can be brought down to their knees because their knowledge is so superior they can rule the world. So why are we forgetting the wealth that we have? So with the Shahani Group and through the Sage Foundation, we have launched an initiative called the creation of the Sage Child, as I mentioned. A child who is spiritually anchored, academically excellent, global-minded, and emotionally evolved. Because spirituality is the basis of everything. It's a crux, it's a foundation. We believe the future belongs not just to artificial intelligence, but to conscious intelligence. That is why, through our collaboration with NSDC, we are their prime partners in this. We've signed an MOU with the Maharishi International University. Ved Tiwari ji, you would be knowing Ved Tiwari. This was the main thing that attracted him to our Shahani group. Is the knowledge that you should spread. So we are building what we call conscious humanoids, young minds who combine inner stillness with outer skillfulness. The best way to predict the future is to create it consciously. Now here's my call to action. As I close, I invite you to carry three intentions from this gathering. First is pause. In the rush to achieve, pause to ask, am I acting from ego or from essence? You know, the younger generation is just like the new groom moves very fast. That's the younger generation. But it's the old groom that knows all the corners. That is our generation, Tishu, yours and my generation. We know all the corners. So the younger generation just moves too fast and they don't realize what they're missing. So take advantage of our ancient wisdom, the experience that we've had in our childhood. Young people are really missing out on the fun that we have in our hearts and souls. So the second point, the first point was pause. The second point was practice. Make space daily for mindfulness, reflection, and gratitude. Mindfulness is very, very important. I'm working very closely with Dr. Tony Nader. He's a neuroscientist from MIT and he's a doctor from Harvard, but he's been trained under Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. So Maharishi Mahesh Yogi had taught him the ancient Vedic knowledge. So he's trying to marry the two. So science and spirituality are ultimately coming together now, which is a very exciting phase for all of us. So then the third thing I need you to carry is pass it on. Ishu, you were talking to Mr. Gide, I wanted you to listen to me. So you must pass on all the knowledge. I'm not saying it out of ego, but this is very important. It's really very important. So infuse your teaching, your leadership, and your life with conscious purpose. Let us not merely prepare students for the world. Let us prepare them to transform the world. And here's a closing poetic line. Let us not be echoes of the past, but voices of a conscious future, where the heart leads the mind and the soul guides the system. May this conference not just be a dialogue, but a divine awakening. Thank you. And I will leave early to attend the US meeting, but I will wait for some time to have to attend the other meeting, then I'll quietly go away.
Thank you, Maya ma'am, for the wonderful insights. We are truly grateful to have you here with us. Truly agree that the future belongs not just to artificial intelligence, but also conscious intelligence. And as teachers, it is important to take care of the ones we know. We all agree that pausing to ask and self-reflect, practicing mindfulness, and passing this knowledge to others will help us be better individuals and teachers. Thank you so much. Now I request Ms. Ume Selva to come and introduce Ms. Usha Pandit. Now, my apologies. Now I request Ms. Ume Selma to come and introduce Dr. Shiv Tharma.
Good morning, everyone. We are honored to welcome Dr. Shiv Talwar, founder of the Spiritual Heritage Education Network, SHEN, and a visionary leader in spiritual education. With a PhD in civil engineering, Dr. Talwar retired early in 2000 to pursue his passion for fostering unity and understanding through conscious living. Motivated by the religious divisions that he witnessed during the partition of India, he established SHEN. With a PhD in civil engineering, he retired early in 2000 to pursue his passion for fostering unity and understanding through conscious living. Motivated by the religious divisions that he witnessed during the partition of India, he established SHEN to explore how we can live more intentionally by balancing our unconscious habits with conscious, purposeful action, and balance rooted in the very structure of our nervous system. Under his leadership, SHEN promotes inner clarity, well-being, and global harmony through spiritual awareness and responsible citizenship. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Shiv Talwar.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Shiv Pawar. Thank you very much, Dr. Balani, for giving me this opportunity of speaking. And to Mayani for her kind words of introduction. As a friend of hers, I value your friendship. May I be permitted to share the screen?
Start sharing right
So you can share the screen now.
Then you can share the Excuse me. Okay, there we go. As introduced, I am the founder of Spiritual Heritage Education Network. SHEN is the acronym for it. And on the screen, you see our logo. And also, you see our vision. We are a network of spiritual heritage education. And our vision is all inclusive. We do not teach anything that is not inclusive of all. If it is exclusive of anyone, we don't want to teach it. So that is our vision. We need a balance of two ways of living. Our mind is unconscious and automated, making us live on an autopilot. So we follow a thought that comes to our mind and live by life by it, and then another thought comes in our minds and we live our life by it, and so on. And we can also live with conscious and purposeful focus of intentionality. And both are necessary for life. So we need a harmonious balance of the two to transform ourselves. And that is essentially the wisdom of ancient Vedic yoga. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is what this is all about. And if we look at our universe, the universe got created from a point source in the Big Bang, and about 14.5 billion years ago, the size of the universe now is about 92 billion light years across. 1 light year is the distance light travels in a year. And 92 billion light years across, that is the size of the universe now. And it all came out of a point. The source is imperceptible. And if you, the universe started with stardust, and all we have in our material universe is the evolution of stardust. Evolved into fundamental particles, then protons, neutrons, and then atoms and molecules and so on and so forth. It goes on. And the material universe, because of the stardust particles being all alike, have got non-duality at their core. And that is calm, serenity, conscience, intention. And that non-duality that as a core instinct, you know. I hardwired for non-duality, and what that does, run our autonomic nervous system in a certain way. We have two divisions of our autonomic nervous system. One is parasympathetic, the other one is sympathetic. When we want our machinery of the body to run at a faster clip, we send the signal through the sympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system, and if we want it to slow down, we send it to the parasympathetic. Because the serenity and calm of non-duality as the instinct, the signals go through parasympathetic activation. And this is universe of matter as compared to this is the universe of living being. And the universe of living being started about 3.5 billion years ago with the single cell bacteria. And then that evolution of life through genetic mutation gives rise to millions of life forms, ending with a human being about 200,000 years ago. So human being is a novelty as far as the life universe of living beings is concerned, and human being has got a conscious mind. Actually, the conscious mind started with the mammals. Mammals are the kind of animals that have live births. They give live births to their offspring rather than giving eggs and then hatching the eggs. And they also have mammary glands. Mammary glands secrete milk to feed the infants, and that is the beginning of conscious love. So we have the capacity of conscious love, but being a living being, it is incumbent on us to live as long as possible. Whatever lives dies. And life extension is one of the instincts built into us. It's called survival instinct. And we get our survival instincts from our DNA. The difference between the universe of matter and the universe of the living is that the living is the universe is from matter with DNA. And what that DNA does, it self-replicates, and it also lives and dies. And the survival instincts that we get in all living beings because of their DNA, and the survival instincts essentially mean prolonging life, having a self-concept or ahankara, as in the word in Sanskrit is, and then sustenance, finding means of sustaining ourselves, food and water and oxygen and so on, and then finally procreation. Those four survival instincts are what are built into us by our DNA. And by a certain process which is very biological. We give too much credit to our thinking mind, but our thinking mind interacts with our biology, and our biology wins up many a time, and it certainly wins up when the sympathetic nervous system activation is much higher than the parasympathetic. And this is the way we are built. And DNA decides how much of imbalance of the two divisions of activation of the two divisions is. And that is what our fate is. And we can change our DNA and we can change our fate. And the method is a balanced activation of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic divisions of the autonomic nervous system. This is a simple modern scientific explanation of ancient philosophy of yoga, ancient Vedic philosophy of yoga. And if you look at yoga, what it does to us is essentially calms us down, and then we can live a conscious life of intentionality, and that really transforms our DNA. It modifies our genes through very epigenetic ways, and that is modern science. And the philosophy of yoga is based upon very sound reasoning, and that sound reasoning had an uncanny understanding of our biology. And this is what we are doing in our education in neurobiology of transformation. We have started giving graduate degrees in neurobiology of transformation. It's all science talk. And we need that science talk because that science is the universal language. It is accessible by everybody, whereas if you go teach spirituality in spiritual narratives, then that is not accessible by all. If you use the narrative of spirituality of the Vedas, then the others will stay away, and if we use the spirituality of the Bible, then the Hindus and the Muslims will stay away, and the Jews will stay away. Whereas if we talk through science, the same truths in the portals of modern science, and of course, it is accessible by everybody. Nobody stays away from it. There is scientific teaching all over the world, and science is the language, that is the common language of everybody. So how do we balance the activation of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic divisions of the autonomic nervous system? Our young gave us the way. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and we'll call it fate. The unconscious directing our life is problematic. As we saw, we can live unconsciously and automatically. Unconscious automation is one way of living, and conscious intentionality is another way of living, and we have to balance it. If we have nothing but unconscious automation, the unconscious then starts directing our way, and we call it fate. And if we live consciously, we change our fate because we change our DNA, we change our genes, and our genes have a map of our mind and body. How we function is decided by the genes. And the way we are born, we have a set of genes. And if we keep living with those genes without transforming them, without modifying them, then a life does not change. It is a life of unconscious automation all the time. And if we balance the activation of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic divisions of the autonomic nervous system, then we balance the automation of life with the intentional life, conscious intentional life. We need them both. If we don't have unconscious automation, we won't be able to sleep. We cannot be intentional and conscious all the time. We have to balance the two. And the way we are born, we live with unconscious automation. And if we grow and transform ourselves, then we can live with intentionality. If we have a balance of the two, that is a total transformation right down to your genes. And once you transform your genes, then the change is sustainable. And this is an example of making the unconscious conscious. We breathe unconsciously. Once we breathe with a conscious intention, that breathing can transform ourselves. So anything that we do unconsciously, we do it consciously, that is transformative. And if we keep on doing all things unconsciously, then of course we live a life, fatalistic life. We keep on living the way our genes at birth decided that we will live. And this is something that can be taught even to a 2-year-old. That is why I picked up on this example. The other example could be mindfulness practice. The other example could be meditation. But they need a certain level of maturity before you can meditate or before you can live mindfully. Whereas breathing is done by a newborn. And it is very easy to teach how to breathe consciously to a 2-year-old. And actually, I have done that in my teaching over here in Canada very successfully. And so we don't have to wait until we grow up to transform ourselves. We can start transformation of life. Parents can lead a transformed life themselves and help the kids to transform them, consciously right from day one. If you hold your child to your bosom and breathe deep, the child will start breathing deep by itself. Its lungs will will go through the same kind of breathing pattern as you are using. Uh, they sync with each other. Hearts and minds sync with each other, but the lungs syncing with each other is totally, totally transformational right from day one. I thank you very much. And this is the science of yoga, or yoga seen in a scientific lens, and that is what we need. Accessible understanding of yoga by all religions and spiritual backgrounds. Thank you very much, and I would love to engage in discussion if you like.
Thank you, Shiv sir, for joining us and giving us these invaluable insights. Thank you for highlighting the importance of intentional living and spirituality.
Anita, and I totally resonate with what you have said. All this scientifically explains quantum mechanics because you spoke about the origin of the universe, the Big Bang starting with one point, and how the atom breaks into the molecule and the neutrons and the protons and the electrons. But now science has discovered the smallest of the small particles, and that is a unified field that we talk about, which is not,
Yes.
that's where duality ends and we all become one. And this is what we are also working on in the Shahani group. So I'm so excited about your philosophy and your way of training, and we should all work, our HSNC board, your thought processes, our thought processes. It will be so wonderful. NSDC is already with us because Mr. Ved Tiwari, he also believes in this belief, this philosophy. And Dr. Tony Nader, as I told you, he's also totally working on this. Unfortunately, we couldn't meet him when we were coming from Canada because of my hip fracture. I don't want to waste everybody else's time, but we go a long way, Shiv Talwar and me. Thank you so
Thank you.
Spirituality. The difference between the universe of matter and universe of being was very interesting to know about. We are truly grateful to have you with us here, sir. Thank you so much. I now request Ms. to come and introduce and welcome Ms. Usha Pandit.
Ma'am, it is my great honor to introduce a trailblazer in education, Mrs. Usha Pandit. With over 30 years of teaching experience across India and abroad, she is an academic consultant, author, and teacher trainer. She is an academic consultant, author, and teacher trainer, and Mrs. Pandit holds master's degrees in English and education with certifications from the UK and New Zealand. She is the author of acclaimed English textbook series such as Empowering English, Grammar with Ease, and many more, which is used in nearly 100 leading schools across India. She has worked with top Cathedral and John Kennard, Shishuan, and the Heritage Schools, transforming curriculum and teacher development. Known for her bold child-centric approach, she advocates skill-based, creative, and inclusive learning. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mrs. Usha Pandit. I now request our principal, Dr. Bhagwan Galani sir, to please felicitate her.
I request Ms. Makina to introduce Dr. Medha also. Please come. A very good morning. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Medha Tapyawala, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities at SNDT Women's University. She is a respected academic with over 30 years of experience, an expert in development economics and sustainable growth. She has enriched the curriculum and promoted interdisciplinary learning. As Dean, she has raised academic standards, championed innovative teaching, and fostered research collaborations. Her active role in key university committees reflects her commitment to gender equity and student welfare. Her leadership continues to shape a vibrant and inclusive academic environment. Thank you. I request Dr. Banani to facilitate Dr. Banani. Felicitate.
I now request Usha ma'am to please join us and share a few words.
Can I be heard? So, good morning, everyone. At the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Balani and the BTPC for having invited me here to speak to all of you. I speak to a lot of teachers across India. So for me to speak to student teachers is extremely exciting, because if there is hope, it is here in this room with you. Okay? First of all, congratulations on your choice of a profession. One of the things you need to know is that you hold the future in your hands. Have you ever thought about it? Like no other profession. Nobody can change the future like we can. Okay, and we need to believe it. Our problem is that we do not believe that. We look at the hierarchy of jobs, we look at our salaries, we look at our position, people to bully us, and we don't believe that we can change the future. But we are the only people in the world who can change that future. Okay, so give yourselves a big hand. Awesome. One of the things is that I will bring to you the field. So you're starting out starry-eyed from here, from the college, where you have learned a lot. You have, the B.Ed program itself has changed dramatically from my days. And that is a good thing to hear. And I believe Dr. Balani has introduced a huge number of reforms in terms of research papers and creating content and knowledge, which is the future, right? So that's all good. But as Dr. Maya Sahani said, you need to reflect. It's not enough to create content. You'll find it on AI, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. Now, copying out of AI and producing a research paper is something everybody will do in the future. But reflecting on what you have read and thinking about it is what makes us unique as human beings. And that reflection produces different thoughts in different people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we are not monochrome in our responses. We are multi. So if all of us read the same thing, there are likely to be 50 thoughts in this room. And that is what you need to create in your classrooms. So if you stand as a teacher and you start lecturing children on that one thought that is there in that one textbook, which you are going to ask in that one examination, how many thoughts have you produced? One. And you produced a thought that is that is somebody else's thought sitting in a book, which your students are being now trained to think and repeat as if it is the Bible. That's a tragedy, isn't it? When you ask critical thinking questions in the classroom, you invite 50 responses. When 50 responses are heard, not written, heard. So a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, interaction, participation needs to happen in a classroom orally. This upsets a lot of people when I say this, because we are so used to writing, filling notebooks, telling other people that we are working. That's what we are doing. We're telling every adult out there we are earning our salaries. Because see how many notebooks I filled. You understand? It's a measure of the quantum of work that a teacher does. It's not. Where is your result sitting as a good teacher? You don't need anybody to tell you you are a good teacher. You know. And how do you know? Can anyone tell me? How do you know that you're a good teacher? By the students, absolutely correct. It's your students who will tell you that you are right. So when you give a test and you get results, whose result do you think that is? Your result. It is not the student's result. It is your result. Because of your intervention, you have not been able to move those children. That's what it tells you, and that means I need to start changing. I need to start seeking. I need to find out. I need to observe. There are many things I have to do after that result. I can't just say the children are so inattentive. The parents don't do any homework with them. Oh, they are coming from merchant families. These are excuses. You follow what I'm saying? The results are directly yours. You are put there so that you can intervene and you can learn. Along with that intervention, you will learn what to do and what not to do. So if you've been a teacher for 10 years somewhere, you should have a wealth of knowledge. Or you can be a teacher somewhere for 40 years and remain in the same place. You can do that also. So it all depends on how much you reflect. Okay? So I'm saying this so that if you have voices in forums, you will be able to take it across better than me. So I'm going to give you some controversies today, some thoughts that are completely different, and you might think that it is important for you to go forward. Words like transformation, sustainability, future, these are not just words, they are actions. The question is, are we acting on our words? That's the gap. So my presentation today is called The Broken Road. And my executive told me, ma'am, it is too negative. So I said, let's make it Fixing the Broken Road. Chalo. But it is still broken. And I'll show you today where the breaks are. So let me just quickly draw your attention to the goals of education, because that's very important. Goal nahi hai to fir kya hai? You don't know where you're going. So what's your goal? To give the child a job? What's your goal? Come on, tell me. Come on, teachers, by now you should know what your goal is. What is your goal for the child? Yes.
Make the child an all-rounder.
To make the child an all-rounder. Football, cricket, carom, sab
Prepare
kuch?
the child for life skills.
Life skills. Okay. So you want to create autonomy in the child, don't you? The word is autonomy. Autonomy means the child is self-reliant, can cope in any situation, will not slash his wrists if he fails in the 12th grade. That is the kind of resilience we are talking about. How are you going to create that? By telling him, child, you should be resilient. Please, even if you fail, don't worry. Failure is a stepping stone to success. Blah 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 blah. Ye kiya to will the child become resilient? Will he? Yes or no? I don't know. Tell me. No, he will not become resilient because somebody is telling him. He needs to have a set of experiences, behaviors, reflections, stories, discussions, and strategies. What if you fail? What will happen? What will you do? How many teachers are asking these questions in the 12th? What if you fail? पूछते हैं? आपको लगता है पूछते हैं कोई? कभी नहीं, कोई नहीं पूछते हैं. Failure is a dirty word. Only success. Failure is not a dirty, but the child needs to know, bhai, because in his mind there is a fear that I will fail. And what if I fail? What will happen? How will I disappoint everyone? This is there in his mind. You need to bring it out in that classroom in the form of a discussion. And you will get your opportunity from where? Up class ke andar aake you will say, okay guys, today we are going to ask you a question. What if you fail in the 12th standard? ये आप कर सकते हो? नहीं. That will be ridiculous. तो आप कैसे लाओगे वो value of failure? क्या करोगे? Come on, guys. See, if it was a class, regular class, and not a conference, I would have just picked you and asked you. So that's how you should question in class. क्लास में किसी को बैठने को नहीं देने का, इधर से उधर, उधर से इधर पूछने का. चिल्ड्रन आर ऑल अलर्ट, कभी भी पूछ सकती है ना? ये तो सो जाएंगे. तो बोलो, tell me, how will you introduce this in a class?
Maybe discuss a case study, a real life.
So you can discuss a case study. What if you are a science teacher? What if you are a maths teacher? You can be any teacher, na?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Anji.
So suppose I think as a science teacher, failure is part of science. So I think failure is a part of science, I believe. So that sometimes it's, if you don't know what you want to do, you should know what you don't
How
want
many
to do.
scientists have failed?
I think all of them.
All of them.
I'm sure
How
all
many?
of them.
How many times did that guy do the tube light? Not the tube light, the bulb.
Thousands. I believe there were thousands attempts.
Thousands
before
of
he made a
times.
success.
So there is a failure, no, to talk about. See, ऐसे थोड़ा सा सोच लिया तो आ जाएगा. अभी पहले मैंने पूछा तो you thought साइंस में कहाँ से फेलियर लाएगा? स्टोरी चाहिए उसके लिए. स्टोरी नहीं चाहिए. See, there is failure. मैथ्स में कैसे लाओगे? Maths? Come on, think, guys. This is teaching. This is what you have to do. Sit and reflect.
Reflect means sit and think this kind of thoughts. I am a maths teacher. How will I bring in the concept of failure into my maths class? I want to introduce this value. How will I introduce the value? Yes, sir.
We can pose situation, realistic situation in front of the class and make them think over and propose potential solutions for the same.
तो मैथ्स में बहुत ज़्यादा फेलियर है ना. Maths is one of the most dreaded subjects. So where in math do you fail? Why do you fail? How can you change that failure? What does it teach you? You can do. So it's not like you can't do it in math. Now if you thought a little bit, you will get everything. Okay? So reflection, guys, is one of the most important things. When I talk of reflection, I'm talking about practical reflection where you actually sit and think. Not just say, we reflect, we grow, we learn, we do critical thinking, we do problem solving. किसी का prospectus उठा के देखो, they are doing everything in that school. फिर तो इतना unemployable people should not be produced, no? In our society. Everybody should get jobs. People should be in India should be Vishwa Guru by now. If they are doing all that is written in their prospectus, there is a gap. That's your one big gap. Between word and deed, there should be no gap, right? So your goals are personal, which is basically autonomy, balance, resilience. These are your big goals. The second goal is social empathy. Socially, if you are not feeling for another person, then you are not an educated person at all. If you are only thinking about how to get a salary and a job and 5 cars and a dog and a beautiful wife, then that's not a goal of education. But unfortunately, it is for a lot of children and parents. It's all about succeeding personally. So succeeding socially is important. Critical thinking is important because there's a lot of fake news. So if there's a war now, you will see the actual swaroop of fake news, of what it will do to you, of how you come to a point with technology where you don't know what is true and what is false. We are living in a dangerous world. How can we counter that? By producing children who know how to judge. The tools of critical thinking should be available to children. Are you learning the tools of critical thinking in your courses? That is the question. So if I give you a topic on gravity, do you know how to ask a critical question? That is the question. So if you are thinking of curriculum change, research, do research on this, on how to ask critical questions. There are plenty of videos on what critical thinking tools are. I myself have done several. So that is not the problem. But how will you apply it to the child, to the classroom? That is the question. So critical thinking is critical, again, simply because we are living in a world where we need to know what the truth behind the truth is. Truth तो सबको दिखता है, उसके पीछे, पर्दे के पीछे क्या है? That is what critical thinking is. And then there is preparedness for the future. That future is unexpected. Those parents are living in fear कि मेरे बच्चे का क्या होगा? It is not the way we lived, me and Dr. Balani and Manpreet and all. We lived in a different world. We didn't have challenges that the child of today has. So where are the gaps on the broken road? You will find the gaps everywhere. Pre-primary to primary, there is a gap. इतना बड़ा गैप है कि गिर सकता है बच्चा बीच में. What is the gap? It's got nothing to do with pre-primary में और कुछ कर रहे हैं. Or we are not using the strengths of the child. The strengths of the child is already a lingual expert. He can speak one language no matter how hard it is. He's already got it under his belt at 2, alone, without a teacher, without a syllabus, without any kind of training. Have you thought about that? Why is it that we can't put a language on a child for 15 years? Something is wrong with us, no? We can't do English, we can't do Hindi, we can't do Marathi. If it is not the child's mother tongue, we cannot put it on the kid. So there's something wrong, we need to chuck it out. Like she said, you need to change the way you think. If it's not working, don't repeat the same thing. अब प्री प्राइमरी में जाके फिर से if you start teaching 1 2 3 ABC phonic rules, वो बच्चे का क्या होगा? In 3 years you will destroy curiosity. In 3 years you will destroy joy of learning. क्योंकि वो आता है भाग भाग के चप्पल उठाने के लिए, मुंह में डालेंगे, देखेंगे क्या है. Because this is the only part which is full of nerve ends that are alive. That's why the child puts everything in his mouth. It's experiential, that child. What did you do to it? You put him in a corner and made him write the number 3 20 times. Can you sit and write the number 3 3,000 times, or a Japanese alphabet if I give you to do? No. So what you don't like to do, what you cannot do, you may not put on the children. There should be a law. Because it won't work. Isn't it? You have to learn with joy. We are social learners. Play games, sing songs, watch videos together, do clapping actions. That is what that little child needs to do, and he will learn everything that you can possibly teach him. Because he has come into this world to learn. We do the opposite. So start thinking of your curriculum seriously. What are we doing with the pre-primary child? What are we doing with the primary child? The primary child now needs to start getting ready with stories, with better language, with everything that is a little more strong, but he's still a child. You still need to play games and sing songs and tell him stories. Are we doing that, or are we putting him into a test, an exam, tuitions? सब कुछ शुरू हो जाता है grade 2. That's the reality. So that's what we are going to fight against as warriors when we get out there. हम नहीं करेंगे तो और कौन करेगा? The tragedy is ये सबका failure किसके सर पे आने वाला है? बताओ? Teacher. Teacher is the easiest scapegoat to attack. So you are not going to be spared, and that respect in society that you crave for is going to come down. Be a fighter. Fight for that child. You are not fighting for anybody else. The child is your client, not the parent. Parent बैठ के रोएगा, parent आके लड़ेगा in kindergarten, और फिर 10वीं में वो parent दूर दूर तक दिखेगा नहीं. You won't find them. You'll have to threaten them. आया नहीं तो हॉल का टिकट नहीं मिलेगा. Yeah. Ask any principal, they'll tell you. बैठ के बकेट रोएगा वो पेरेंट. उसका पूरा वो ऊर्जा जो था ना प्राइमरी टाइम में, वो पूरा खत्म हो जाता है. So we need to educate those parents. That's important. The gaps are in every place. So the primary doesn't know what the middle is doing, middle doesn't know what the senior high school is doing. High school doesn't know what college is doing, college doesn't know what jobs are doing. Pura gap hai. You have not prepared the child for any stage. Did you know that? And if you don't believe me, take a look at the GMAT paper. ये तो वो नीट, JEE वगैरह papers निकाल के जरा solve करने की कोशिश करो. You will realize that children cannot go in straight from the 12th, they cannot go and sit in that exam. They'll fail. You understand? They have to gisofy for 1 year in some sweatshop, doing 5,000 sums before they can crack something there. Why, Baba? We have been teaching them maths, no, for so long. Why do they have to do 1 year of गधा मजूरी to do the JEE? कभी सोचा है? Why should they go to a quota factory, sell the land in the family and sit there for 2 years in order to compete for an exam? So there's a gap. And then when you go for a job, suddenly you need social skills. जो हमने कभी सिखाया ही नहीं. We were busy teaching geography, है ना? वो geography जो मेरे सेलफोन में है और आजकल AI में है. If I have a thought, it will tell me what I am thinking. That ज़माना है, and I am teaching geography, and I am testing geography. Our tests and exams are like driving on one road. If you're teaching a child to drive, और हमने अगर एक ही रोड के ऊपर उसको ऊपर नीचे चलवाया, वो है सिलेबस. अब समझ रहे हो? और फिर एंड ऑफ दी टाइम में हम लोग कौन सा टेस्ट देते हैं? वही रोड के ऊपर फिर से चलाओ गाड़ी, और फिर जब वो चलाता है हम बोलते हैं 99.8% मार्क, वेरी वेल डन. सब लोग खुश. उसको अभी राउंड टर्न में लेके जाओ, हाईवे में लेके जाओ, क्या हाल होगा उसका? Probably will not survive. So therefore, make sure that your children can drive on every road. That is education. How will you do that? By explaining? Come on, tell me how you will do that. Experiential, he has to discover, he has to fail, he has to discuss, he has to debate, you question, isn't it? They have to discover the concept, and they have to fail and fall and get up and find out. Otherwise they won't learn. Now there is a template for many things. अगर आपको कोई किंग के बारे में करना है तो कैन आई डू अ माइंड मैप अबाउट अ किंग इन द मिडिल एंड से व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स शुड आई लुक फॉर? कैन आई डू दैट? अगर मुझे मालूम नहीं है तो आई कैन आस्क एआई टुडे, वो बताएगा मुझे क्या करना है, माइंड मैप कैसे करना है. सोचने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. इफ आई वांट टू डू ज्योग्राफी, इफ आई पुट अ लैंडस्केप इन द मिडिल, कैन आई फाइंड आउट अबाउट दैट रीजन? कैन आई आस्क माय चिल्ड्रन टू प्रोड्यूस अ कंट्री? Can I evaluate Narendra Modi as a leader using those parameters which I used for Ashoka? क्या लगता है आपको? Can I or can I not? Nothing will change. It will be the same parameters. He conquered countries. We've got something called foreign policy, ना? वही है. The same thing. Your foreign policy is ढीला, you will go for war. What has changed? Tell me. Since Ashoka to Narendra Modi, what has changed? Has anything changed? I don't know. Tell me. Come on, guys, think. Technology, has it made it more dangerous or less dangerous? अभी ये सब वो बच्चों को डिस्कस करने दो ना. हमको तो बात ही नहीं करनी है. हमको बोलना है कि भाई टेक्नोलॉजी आ गया. You tell me now, what is the impact? Better or worse? Then evaluate. Abhi you can evaluate any king. I can evaluate any landscape. Can't I? Geography और history वो लोग खुद करेंगे? करेंगे या नहीं करेंगे? कि आपको explain करना पड़ेगा? आपको explain नहीं करना है. आपको वो 2 lesson करवानी है, which are mentor texts. You will show how you study South America and how you study Brazil. मैंने अगर 2 चीज बताया उनको तो फिर then everything else in that book the children will do. 4 ग्रुप में डाल के वो टेक्स्ट बुक बांटो सब में. आपको चाइना करना है, आपको वियतनाम करना है, आपको पाकिस्तान करना है, चलो अभी करो. मैंने बताया ना आपको कैसे करना है. पहले 2 में टेक्स्ट बुक खत्म हो गया 3 महीने में. हुआ कि नहीं? आप लोग क्यों उसको लेके खींच रहे हो for the whole year? If I do this and then I give them 4 more countries from outside, won't they become experts in evaluating countries? Or you think they'll be better off in your class where you are explaining the second country to death? What? I hope I'm reaching out to you. Because when I say this to teachers now, experienced teachers, it is very hard to change their mindset. Then you can start going around helping children who are not very good. You can, do some more research, you can think of new ways, you can do hajar things if you've got time. But you will not have time, you will grow old before your time if you work in the way in which schools are working today. And you will be blamed for everything that happens there. So be very careful how you treat yourself. Treat yourself with dignity and use that time in research. So these are your gaps. आपके stakeholders जो है, everyone will put the blame game. Parents will say teachers, teachers will say management. This goes on. So you don't find people who are willing to take responsibility. The board will never take responsibility. They change the exams and then they'll give you 90% marks. If you make an exam robust, nobody can get more than 68, 69% marks. But if you get 98% marks, what does it mean? Marks have been inflated. Why will they inflate marks? Because nobody wants to show failure. So there is a lie happening somewhere there. So I'm brutal. But I will tell you something, as I said, take it or throw it, use it. But you will gain something from what I'm telling you because it's undeniable, the truth of the matter out there. The training paradox is we train only teachers. We don't train anybody else, we don't train management, we don't train principals. कोई बैठता नहीं है उसमें, सिर्फ टीचर्स बैठते हैं जो हेल्पलेस है, जो कुछ कर नहीं पाते. Let me give you quick solutions. I am talking to you about a review committee to review only the gaps. ऐसा committee होना चाहिए. We need a quality committee, somebody who will peer review